Here on the banks of West Beaver Creek, you'll find a small cabin that dates to the early 1870s. It was the home of Dr. Brewster Higley, a physician who came here to north central Kansas from Indiana to perhaps escape and enjoy the solitude of the prairie.
He homesteaded the site in 1871, and then the cabin was constructed and completed on July the 4th of 1872.
Dr. Higley lived alone in his cabin, taking care of medical ailments of patients who were brought to him. At night, neighbors would hear the strains of his fiddle drifting in the sultry summer air. He wrote poetry and enjoyed the nature around him. He would have perhaps lived in isolation and anonymity if it were not for a chance occurrence in this cabin.
The story is told True Brees from Smith Center brought an individual that had a gunshot wound. And apparently whether Dr. Higley opened the book or whatever, but this poem fell out. And True Brees says, "This is dang good."
Higley's poem that fell out of that medical book was My Western Home. Neighbor True Brees thought it was so good it needed to be set to music. Local musician Dan Kelly put music to the words, and later the Harlan Brothers Band added a refrain. It became a popular song, but it wasn't until over 50 years later that events helped it become world famous.
But the real notoriety came about in 1934 when two things happened. One, Admiral Byrd was public that he played it at the South Pole, and then Franklin Delano Roosevelt as president, they played it on the lawn of the White House, and he called it his favorite song.
No sooner did the song become national news than a family in Arizona, the Goodwins, stepped forward to say they had penned it, not Dr. Brewster Higley back in the 1870s.
The Goodwins from Arizona sued NBC and said that's our song, and wanted $500,000 of royalty money. This is in 34, big bucks. So they quit playing it, but hired an attorney, Samuel Monfeld.
The attorney researched the song and found that Higley did in fact originate the lyrics here in this small cabin. They were words inspired by this home, truly his home on the range.
He talks about the creek and the flowing and all of that. It was just, what he was writing about, I think, was the sensations that he felt as he lived here.
Higley nor his family ever received money for the song. This cabin in which it was written was largely forgotten for many decades, but today it has been restored and open free of charge. No matter where we may be from or where we live today, home is a special place. It's a feeling Dr. Higley captured in his poem written in this cabin in the 1870s, and it's a feeling still special in that song to many Americans today. Traveling the countryside near Smith Center, Kansas, I'm Andrew McCrae.